everyone. It's very sad that I have to do this video, and I feel as if we have failed as humanity on so many levels. This is just one of the levels that we have failed as a society and as humanity. As some of you may have heard, there are spaces on the internet, forums, communities, private threads, where men, or I should say monsters, because they don't even deserve the title to be called men, gather to share fantasies about drugging women, raping women, hurting women in many different ways. It's not a fiction, and they're not doing it as a dark humor kind of thing, but as an actual desire and entertainment, as something to bond over. And I need you to let that sit for 1 second. The most documented of these communities call themselves incels, a word that means involuntary celibate. Men who believe that they are owed sex and relationships by women, and that women who don't provide that deserve punishment. These aren't just complaint forms. They share graphic fantasies about raping women, about drugging them, about mass violence. They have created their own language, their own hierarchy, their own mythology, all built around the dehumanization of women. They refer to women not as people, but as foids, short for female humanoids. Subhuman, objects that exist to serve and are criminal for refusing to. It's even hard for me to say these words, like honestly. And this is not news, right? Like, we know that these men are out there, especially women. We know how unsafe it is to live as a woman in this fucking world. And I am so done with this, like, oh, but not all men. You have to understand that when a woman is going through a trauma by a man, sexual violence, anything, for her, it is all men. For us, that is all men until proven differently. And we have to create a safe society for our women and children, because we are failing. We have failed for a long time. It's not that we're just failing now. The internet is just bringing up these shadows out into the surface, out into the light for everyone to see. But these shadows have always been there. So these communities exist on mainstream platforms and in darker corners of the web. And it's kind of like a symbol, right? Like, as I said, for the human consciousness and subconsciousness, the web is kind of symbolic in this way. Some have been shut down. They resurface, they grow, and they radicalize. And the men in them are not always who you imagine. They are in schools, workplaces, families. The FBI tracks this as a violent extremist movement, not a mental health curiosity, not awkward, lonely men, an extremist movement with a body count. And because we have been trained, all of us in our society, to move past information like that quickly, we have been trained to file this under like a fringe, under not all men, under, these are just disturbed individuals who don't represent all of us or don't represent the whole. And I am here to tell you that reflex, that need to contain it, to minimize it, to make it the exception, is part of the same system that made those spaces possible in the fucking first place. And so, no, I am done with accepting this, but not all men. Most men on this planet, even the nicest guys, and last year I have dated one of them. They are so good at putting a facade. And they will become a monster in a second. Most men on the planet, and I'm not saying this with glee or with joy, hate women. They do not like women. They see women as vessels for their pleasure, entertainment, service, whatnot. They do not see them as mothers as divine creatures, as the bringers of life. They do not see us as sacred. They see us as things to use because we owe them something. And this has to stop. I am a sex priestess, as you know. I work in myth and in the body and in the subconscious and in the places where these places meet. And when I look at what is living in those forms, I don't just see criminal behavior, although that's what it actually is. It's so much more beyond it. I see what happens when yang is completely severed from yin, when the masculine is completely severed from the feminine. When a man has lost all capacity to feel another body as real. This video, and it's also an article on Substack if you want to read it there, it's not about those men specifically. This is about the world that made them. And it's about what the feminine body is doing in response, because it knows. It has always known. We have always known, sisters. And it is finally collectively refusing. This is why you see the rise now of so many women everywhere saying enough. We've had enough. So many women online constantly speaking of patriarchy, of the rising of matriarchy, of we are fucking done with men. All of this, women are waking up. But I've said this years ago when I just started this channel. I said this years ago. Women are the leaders. We have to, we are the one who's going to lead the new path. And the good guys, the really real men, they will follow. The other ones are going to fall into the hell that they have created for themselves. And they're going to remain there alone and sad and pathetic. So I'm not speaking from ideology here. I'm speaking from the cartography of the feminine body. A map I have read with my hands, with my rituals, with my work, and with my own long unraveling and just being a woman. And the map is telling us something very urgent. Very, very urgent. Blood, our bodies, the cells of our body, our DNA, our blood knows. And this is what it's been keeping. And so we are living through a psychological and a soul awakening and reckoning. It's not a political one, although it could be disguised as a political one. And it's not a cultural one even. Those are symptoms. What is actually happening is happening at the level of our blood. And women, the goddess, the mother within us is remembering in the cells of our blood. So we are feeling our nervous system exploding, collapsing, yelling at us. And this is the level of what the body is made of and what it has been made to endure. And so with this, we're going to continue. And I hope that you listen and fully be present with this, with your entire being. There is a principle in traditional Chinese medicine that speaks to the nature of yang energy: active, initiatory, expansive, outward moving. Yang is not wrong. Yang is life force in motion. It is the sun striking the mountainside. It is the impulse that begins creation. But yang without yin is a fire with no hearth. It burns through everything. It has no pause, no capacity to sense what it's moving through or towards. This is not a metaphor. This is physiology. A male system disconnected from yin, from receptivity, stillness, from the capacity to feel another's body's resonance before moving into it, does not become evil. It becomes numb. And that is worse than evil. And numbness is more dangerous than cruelty because it cannot locate itself. It cannot feel the damage it is doing because it has lost the instrument that would allow it to feel. Moving into someone else's body without the ability to hear a yes is a violation, no matter what we call it, no matter how gently we have been taught to speak about it. We have called it many things: desire, passion, nature, biology, boys being boys. We built entire civilizations on our architecture of this disconnection and called the architecture normal. Generations after generation, the yang impulse moved without the yin pause. And the women who bore the impact were taught to make room for it in their bodies, in their language, in their silence. But no more. I want to say clearly, my work is not about blame. Blame is a cheap exit from the depth of what's actually happening. This is a systematic wound, a severance from yin, from the feminine, that runs so deep and for so long that most men alive today do not even know they are severed. They have never been shown what it would feel like to actually be whole. Now, let me speak about what I know most intimately: the feminine body. In the Taoist map of the body, women are governed by yin and the blood. Blood is not merely biological. It is the substance that anchors the shen, the spirit, the soul's coherence in the body. Yin provides the container, the capacity to feel, to discern, to sense what is true. This is not mysticism layered over autonomy. This is the lived experience of what it means to inhabit a feminine body when it is healthy, held, and free from override. When a woman's yin is intact, she knows things. She knows when something is off. She knows when a yes is true and when a yes is fear wearing a dress. She knows her own edges. Marion Woodman wrote about the body as the vehicle of the soul, and in the feminine body, this is literal. The body is the oracle. But here's what happens when override becomes normalized. Each time a woman's body is moved through without consent, without attunement, without care, and the yang pausing long enough to feel whether there is a genuine yes, something happens physiologically. Blood is disturbed. Yin, the feminine, depletes. The shen loses its anchor. And over time, over generations of this, the woman begins to lose access to her own knowing. She stops trusting what she feels. She starts managing what she feels. She learns to translate her inner sense of wrongness into something more acceptable, something he won't take personally, something that doesn't make her seem difficult, something that keeps the peace. This is not emotional damage alone. This is a physiological interference with the very substance that allows a woman to know what is truth. And as yin depletes in the feminine body, yang, the masculine, continues to separate from yin in the masculine. Less restraint, more impulse. The gap between them widens. The system moves, as all systems do when their poles become extreme and disconnected, towards entropy, towards like being a psychopath, actually, psychopathy, towards the headlines you cannot stop reading and cannot fully fucking believe. You are not imagining that things have gotten worse. You are reading the data correctly. The body has been keeping the score for centuries, and the score is now on the board for everyone to fucking see. And then something happens. The feminine body, because it is wise, it is wisdom itself, because it is ancient, because at its core, it is designed not for endurance, but for truth and love, reaches a limit. The body of the feminine closes. I need you to feel what I'm saying here, because we have been taught to pathologize this. We have called it fragility, hysteria, unavailability, wounding, fear of intimacy, trust issues. We have built entire therapeutic industries around helping women reopen themselves to the very dynamic that necessitated their closing. But the closing is the wisdom. We need to close up right now, women. Keep our hearts open, but close our bodies. We have to remember the blood. We have to speak to our blood again, speak to the wisdom within us, and invite men to wake the fuck up. When a woman pulls back, becomes unavailable, stops performing openness, removes herself from excess. She's not broken. She's not rejecting, but she's regulating. Her body is doing exactly what it was designed to do when the conditions for genuine connection have not been met. It is reclaiming our blood. It is rebuilding our feminine. It is reassessing our life force. It is choosing sanity over sacrifice. We are not sacrifice anymore, sister. In Jungian terms, this is the return of what the feminine has been forced to shadow. The parts of herself she buried to remain lovable. Her refusal, her discernment, her full body no are rising. What looks from the outside like withdrawn is on the inside a homecoming. And I want to speak to the Lilith in this. Because Lilith, that first woman who would not lie beneath, who refused the position of submission, who was exiled and demonized for her refusal, Lilith is not coming back as a story. She is coming back as a body phenomenon, as a biological tide, as millions of women simultaneously discovering that they would rather be unreachable than endlessly available to being overridden. The exile is ending, not because women are becoming more powerful. We've always been powerful, but because the body has finally run out of the resources to keep pretending. This is time for truth. The time of the Great Mother is the time of pure truth. And no, truth is not always beautiful. So here's the part that I want you to really stay with here, because this is where I think we are in the arc of our evolution. This is why I called my book Sex Magic Evolution. This is why I named my school Mother is Rising. And this is why I have offered my life, my voice, and my love to the Great Mother herself. When women close, when access is withdrawn, not as a strategy, but as a physiological truth, something profound happens to the masculine field. It is forced, like actually forced to recognize. It is forced to wake up. A system that was operating on the assumption of continuous access suddenly cannot. And in that friction, in that discomfort, in that strange, unfamiliar emptiness, there is a doorway. The doorway is yin. The doorway is feeling. The doorway is the capacity to slow down long enough to encounter the actual reality of another person's body. Rather than the permission structure the masculine system has built around that body. This is where the Great Mother archetype becomes relevant in a way that is not romantic or theoretical. The Great Mother in her pre-patriarchal form, her real essence, before she was sanitized into the Madonna or demonized into the witch or the whore, was the force that governed not nurturing alone, but necessity and truth. She was the cycle that compelled all living beings towards death before rebirth. She was the winter that made the spring mean something. She is everything. She is all life. She is man and woman. She is everything. She is not asking us to be comfortable right now. She's asking us to be fucking real. What we are witnessing in the culture, in the body, in the nervous system of women who are exhausted and men who are confused and fucking lost is the Great Mother forcing a reorganization that has been delayed for thousands of years. The divine feminine is not returning as softness. No. She's returning as a consequence, as the law of the body, the law of the blood. This is bigger than karma. As the moment when the yin, the feminine, that was suppressed, refuses to be suppressed any longer. I am not speaking this to make men villains. I am saying this because I believe I have seen it in the men who have done the deep work that I worked with, that the masculine is capable of yin. It is capable. It is capable of the pause, the sensitivity, the attunement. It was severed from these capacities, not born without them. And the work of coming back to yin and to love and to true sacred union, as I always teach, is not soft, and it is definitely not comfortable. It requires a man to sit in the absolute fucking discomfort of his own disconnection without fleeing into action or explanation or defensiveness. It requires him to develop the felt sense of another body before he moves. To learn that restraint is not weakness, but the highest expression of his masculinity. Yang that has finally become conscious of itself. This is what responsibility looks like, and accountability. It's not guilt, not endless apology, not the performance of sensitivity. Responsibility is the willingness to be changed by what you feel, to let another person's yes or no actually land in your body rather than be processed through your agenda or your penis. And for the women listening to this, and those of you who are closed right now, who are depleted, who are fucking exhausted, just like me, who have given so much and are not sure you have anything left, I want to say this. Your closing is not your failure. It is your body's genius. It is the oldest intelligence on earth doing what it was designed to fucking do. The reclamation does not have to look like healing in the conventional sense. Learning to open again, to trust again, to make yourself available again to a dynamic that hasn't actually changed. Sometimes reclamation looks like staying closed until the dynamic shifts. Sometimes it looks like building an entirely different relationship to your own body's knowing, one that does not require anyone else's participation. This might look different for every one of us sisters, but there is one truth, is that we are all going back home to the womb of the mother. The great mother within you is not waiting to be rescued. She's waiting to be remembered. She is the final destiny of all of us, men and women, for she is the origin of all of us, no matter how lost we get. We are at the threshold point in human evolution, not a metaphorical one, but a fucking real one. The bodies are telling the story that the minds have been too conditioned to tell. Feminine is withdrawing from systems that have not earned it. Masculine is being asked, for perhaps the first time collectively, to feel before it moves. The dance is being questioned and reorganized and renegotiated at the level of the blood and breath and bone. This is our return. Not of the soft feminine, not of the gentle goddess, but of the full feminine, darkness and light, grief and fury and love all together. The profound intelligence of the body that knows when to open and knows finally when not to. And I'm here for all of it. And I'm here with you in it. With so much devotion and love and fire from the temple of Isis and Lilith. This is Luna Aura, and thank you for listening. Please subscribe, like, and share so I can continue making these videos and share the work of the temple. And may the goddess bless you all.